I was a lot of their first, being their first plus size curvy model.
You couldn't let anyone know the things that you were going through, whatever you shared.
The Bible says, but the God of all grace, hallelujah, and after you suffered a while, how many have
choice to write your own story? Would you write it, or would you let someone else have the pen?
Like I said, I got on the wrong thing.
Welcome, okay? Welcome. Okay. Good morning, Prophetess Vicky. Thank you for joining in, girl. I need some keychains. I need to get some keychains, so I hope we ready for delivery of keychains. I couldn't stay on yesterday because I was at work, but girl, you had some awesome things going on over on your side. Just had to get that out. Welcome to another segment of early morning coffee, tea. I got some tea today with Marvina and her BFF Yvonne. Hey, when we give our voice to the voiceless and we let you say what is on your mind. And I'm just going to say this also, every voice that comes upon this platform matters. So we want you to know that that's another thing we got going on. Well, in my cup, of course, I got me some tea. I actually put some chamomile in my tea today. I still got the turmeric, the cinnamon, and the was it turmeric, cinnamon, and something else. I don't even remember what it was.
Ginger or something?
Ginger. Yep. And I put some chamomile today because I need to relax a little bit. I'm just finding myself this over a week or so. I've been really having I've been feeling the anxiety, but I've been trying to catch it before it just starts to work its way in. Sometimes you gotta be an observer to see what's going on in your body, your mind, and your soul, and realize right then and there you need to either rest or you need to do something to continue so you can keep your mental sanity. So that's where I'm at today. Now, BFF, you tell me where you at today. I know it ain't with that outfit you were talking about when you got on here.
I know. I don't know what I did this morning. I got on the top to go to some different shorts, sport, and I got on some bottoms to go to the dress. And I'm trying to figure out how did I put these two together because I look like a hot mess and it don't fit and it is uncomfortable.
That's
impossible. We're gonna work it out after this. So
that's impossible for you to do hot mess.
Well, I appreciate that, but when I said, this is not it, this is not fitting right, I said, okay, this don't go together. I said I did that, but that's where I'm at. We had a discussion yesterday, so the services for my granddaughter is going to be this upcoming Saturday, and they decided to cremate, so we're going to do the necklaces and things of that nature. So that's kind of where I'm at. Just
not drinking nothing today.
I am. I'm drinking some mushroom coffee. I forgot all about that. I'm drinking some mushroom coffee, and let me tell you, I bought the Rise brand, and it is actually really, really good. I am one of those people. It's hard to get me to try something with things that I don't like. Like I don't like mushrooms. But the coffee is absolutely delicious. So I was kind of thinking that it was going to have that mushroomy taste and I wouldn't like it, but it's actually really good. It doesn't taste like mushrooms at all. It tastes like a beautiful cup of coffee. Uh, and so yeah, so I'm kind of hooked. And that is buying in bulk so that it makes sense because it's expensive. I'll say that it's expensive for my taste. I think you get like 6 packs for $10. And so I said, "Whoa!" Somebody told me it's cheaper than a cup of Starbucks or something like that. I'm like, well, it's kind of averaging out. I don't like Starbucks either. So. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. But
Hey now.
I do want to talk about something. Um, there's a lot of things going on social media right now about Jasmine Crockett and the loss of the uh, the race that she was in. But let me say this: in every shortfall of every shortcoming, you got to look at the world, the blessing in it. If you guys paid attention to the election, a lot of what occurred was people showed up to vote at the location that was on their voter registration card, and they were told that they were put into a different area or a different category, which caused a lot of confusion. And so then by the time the people made it to the other side of town or to the other voting location, then um, it was past the time. And even though the polls stayed open, the courts came down and said they would not allow those votes to count because it was after the polling time. So I say all that to say this: we have elections coming up. This is a pivotal time in the history of our country. So my suggestion is when we have these elections and things coming up, we know that they're going to pull everything out of the hat to make it where we can't vote. They made it illegal for somebody to pass out water if you're standing in line. Somebody brings you a bottle of water, something like that, then you can get disqualified from voting. Sitting down and everything, standing, sitting in chairs and everything, because a lot of times the elderly does that. They've made all of those things illegal. So you guys have to be careful. So my suggestion is, if it says, if that is your voting poll location, and the polls open up at 7, be there by 6:30. Get there early. Don't wait until the end of the day. So that way, if you are rerouted, if they send you to a different location to place your vote, you have ample amount of time to get there. They're banking on us coming in late or being there at the end of the day when most people get off work, so they know that there's traffic and there's congestion to keep you from getting to the other locations. So we have to be 3 steps ahead. So we need to look at these different elections that we know that that someone should have won, and we need to look and see where the failure came in at. So we know that this is something that they're going to be doing. So we have to be prepared. So, like I keep telling everybody, keep your head on the swivel. There's a lot going on, and I implore everybody with everything that is going on right now, step away from the local news and go on YouTube and go to and get some outside sources for the news so that you can get a clearer picture of what is happening.
All right. See now, I hope we all listening. Good morning, Tyra. Good morning, girl.
Good morning.
Well, I hope y'all listening because that's basically what we're gonna be talking about today. We think about and before I bring in a little introduction, I just have a question I want to ask you. I want to know. Think about the last time you really felt truly listened to, because we're going to talk about that. Everyone's talking, but are they really listening? Like right now, did you listen to what Yvonne said about the election? Not what she said, what she didn't say. What she didn't say is they're trying to figure out ways to stop us for our votes to count. So they're trying to look for cracks in the scene so they can get in and find ways to steal our votes, to make our votes not count, and make it very hard for us to even to win the election.
Exactly.
So, are you really listening? When are you really true? When was the last time you truly felt listened to? That is just what we need to talk about today. Me and my BFF, we talked about this last week. Someone, and I'll let her tell you her story. I'm not going to tell you her bag, but I'm going to talk about my bag, and I'm going to ask you these questions because I want you to really listen to what we got to say. This is our opinion. This is our bags. It's not gospel. We're not out of the Bible. We're not saying the Quran. We're not saying all of this other stuff. We're talking life on life terms, basically, on this segment. All right. So I'm just asking everyone to tune in. I want you to please comment. Give us some comments on what you feel, and we will hold everybody accountable for exactly what they're going to feel and what they're saying. And we're not going to judge you. We understand. We just want y'all to see how listening plays a good part of our everyday lives, and we don't do much of it. We so busy, we just reacting. We're not listening. We're talking. We're not listening. So after this little introduction, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about this little topic. Are you, let me see, are you actually just talking or are you listening, basically? All right, here we go.
Everybody's talking, voices everywhere, opinions, reactions, conversations in the air. But the real question is, who's really listening? Are we responding or just reacting? Listening to understand, or waiting to reply, hearing every word, but missing the heart behind them. In a world full of noise, real connection happens when someone slows down and truly hears you. Everyone is talking, but who's really listening? Tonight we're unpacking the truth about communication, connection, and understanding. This is what's in the bag, where every voice matters.
All right, now let's get on with it. Let's get on with it. Good morning, y'all. Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, so as we go ahead, first I want to ask this first question. This is the first question to everybody, and I said it before this. When was the last time you truly felt heard? And I want y'all to write in the comments. Do y'all remember the last time y'all truly felt heard? Was there a last time that you actually remember in a conversation that maybe y'all was having some type of disagreement, or maybe y'all was just communicating on something very important and you truly felt heard? So Yvonne, I'm going to let you go ahead on and start this off with some of the conversations we talked about yesterday. So go ahead. Last week. Go ahead.
So last week I went we went to Tennessee, and I had the pleasure of spending some time with my grandson's other grandmother, Miss Janet, and we had a beautiful, beautiful conversation. And in that conversation, we were talking about kids and family and just a lot of things going on in the world. And she said to me, have you ever noticed these days that everybody has something to say, but nobody's listening? And I said, huh? She said, just think about that for a minute. She said, everybody. She said, on social media, everybody got something to say about what somebody else posted without hearing or understanding. She said a lot of times people look at a video or hear some comments and they don't even take out the time to truly listen to what is being said in that video or what's not being said. And then she said politics. She said politics is just a hot mess. She said to the point I don't even have to watch the news anymore because nobody's listening to anybody. She said we're gonna be at war. And at the time we didn't even know that that we had with everything that was going on with Iran because we were just kind of, off the grid. And she said, we over there trying to get involved in a religious war that's been going on for thousands of years. And she said, and they have their reasons. She said, but we're not taking out the time to understand and listen to their reasons. But we want everybody to understand our reason for doing what we're doing in someone else's territory, someone else's country. She said, family. She said, I had to step back from family at times. She said, because they're so busy trying to tell me as I'm trying to tell them something. She said, we're not hearing each other. We're not listening to each other. And we're definitely not, because we're not doing that, we're not understanding each other. And she said, it's so much conflict. So much conflict. She said, so that's why sometimes you look up and she said, I'm over here, I'm over there. She said, I'm going different places and doing different things. She said, just so that I can tap out and tune out. She said, not that I want to cut people off. She said, but just trying to find a better way of learning better listening skills so that I can truly understand and so that they can start to understand me. That was so deep for me. And I really had to think on that. I had to think on that with my children. I had to think on that with my mom. And I even called my mother up and I said to my mom, I said, Mom, I owe you an apology because I told Marvina, my mother called me by my whole government name. My whole government name. I didn't even realize just how indignant I had gotten with her. And it really, she told me, she said, you really hurt my feelings. She said, out of all my children, you're the one that normally listens to what I say. And then we hold a good conversation. She said, I don't know what you were thinking of, who you thought you were talking to. And I had to go back and check myself. And I did it. It hurt my heart because I said, wow, I said, I really hurt her because I didn't listen to her. And I got to thinking about that. How many times and how often are we hurting other people because we're not listening to what they're saying? We're trying to get our point across. So we are, we think about it. Sometimes, have you ever been in a situation, to our viewers, have you guys ever been in a situation, and put this answer in the chat, to where you're talking to somebody and it may got a little heated or whatever, and you're not listening to them, but you're preparing yourself for what your response is going to be?
Yeah.
Then you think about how catastrophic, and I'm gonna use that word, catastrophic. You think about how catastrophic, because now it's like a ticking time bomb, because now you're playing tit for tat, and you miss everything of importance. That's why sometimes people say, "Oh, I said all of that, and all you got is that one thing out of it." So we've got to learn better listening, and I am guilty of it. I am. I'm emptying out my bag today. I am so guilty of it. I have had to go to my BFF, and she knows this. I have had to go to her and say, I am so sorry. I didn't mean this way, but I said I didn't understand what you were trying to say to me. But once I got a chance to just kind of step back and really think on it, I said, dang, I really messed that up. And she told me something one time. She said, I don't always need your comments. She said, sometimes I just need you to have a listening ear. And I miss it.
And let me say this. Last week, there was an incident with a young lady. She was 19 years old, and there was an incident at our job at work, and she quit. She just quit, and I didn't understand why she quit. And we finally had a conversation, and the conversation went like this. I'm very emotional, and I have trauma, but I know you don't like when I'm crying. I know, I scream, but I know you the way you came at me the last time, I was scared to talk to you. I just didn't know how to deal with the way you approached me when I spoke to you the last time. So I thought I was going to get in trouble. Now, yeah, I could have felt like, okay, the child, she's a kid, this, that, and the other, but I had to really look at the way I looked to her, and I had to listen to her. I had to listen to, because I know just because she felt this way does not mean that she's the only one. I had to hear people say, it's your delivery. I had to hear people say, you're not my mom. I had to understand these type of things. So it took me to have to listen to what this young lady said. And it kind of reflected to me on how I react sometimes when people come at me in a certain kind of way. So it was very, very important for me to listen to what she said. And then when the communication came about, I had to look at myself. I mean, I could have said, you quit. It could have been just like that. But then I had to see what this young lady was saying and what she was seeing out of her own eyes. Because when we communicate, we got to feel like we trust the person that we're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
I came to my BFF. I said, you know what? I got to do and then she will tell you, I got to do a check on myself by the way I speak to others and the way I look to others when I'm speaking to them. They should be able to communicate with me and trust me, not only as the person on the other end, but my status and who I am, as far as my title concerned. Now, let me say this, I am not perfect, because I do. I have a time when people come. This one guy just started working with us. He started coming at me, talking to me out of the side of his neck. And by the time I looked up, I was trying to, I was like saying to myself, I'm defending myself to this. And I'm thinking about what I need to say to him than what he was saying. He said to me he has mental health issues. And it's what brought me to understand that everybody are not the same. We can't communicate with people in the same way. We got to see the person we're communicating to, understand who they are and the way they relating to you. And be honest with you, in the first maybe 3 to 4 seconds of that conversation, you can kind of determine where you're going in that conversation. You really can. And if you don't take a hold of it on that first 3 seconds, it can go so far right, you don't even see it. It's just there. It goes. I mean, I even seen it as far as text messaging concerned. People reading the comments on the text message and you don't even mean it that way. But because they are in their feelings, or you're in your feelings, you start reading this comment and it be like that and blah, and then you go back and say, I didn't mean it like that. But that's the way they perceived it because of the way the conversation has gone, or what the situation is.
Right. That's right. That's real talk.
That's real talk. So, I'm asking the question, when is the last time that you truly felt heard? Do anybody out there really know what truly being heard is? Okay. See, my thing is, I don't listen to what you say. I listen to what you don't say. And Yvonne tell you that.
Yeah.
I don't get into. I mean, I do. I listen, but I try to get in between the tracks, in between the little cracks of the crack of what's being said.
And she's good because she will come at me and she will let me whatever I'm going through or dealing with. She will let me get all the way through it, and she'll say, "Oh, let me see if I can do it." She'll say, she have her hands like this, and she'll say. So, what are you really trying to say? What's really on your mind? What's really in your heart? And she will come at it from that angle, and I'll say, "Oh, that." She said, "I've known you long enough, and I know you well enough." And see, and that is someone that is truly listening, because she keeps saying, she can say something twice that If you guys didn't pick up on it, I'm going to say it for you. Grab a pen and a piece of paper. She said it's not necessarily what somebody is saying; it's what they're not saying, and that is where true listening skills come in. If you have a family member like my mom, my mother's been on this earth 76 years, and with me for 58 of those years. I should have known that my attitude and my behavior, what she was saying to me and my responses to her were going to hurt her. That's the part of the listening and understanding. She just needed somebody to talk to. And I'll say this, if you're not ready to listen to somebody, say, hey, I am super busy at this moment, but you are important to me. Let me take care of some things that I need to take care of, and I will call you back. Whatever you have to do, step away, breathe, take it in for a moment, meditate, and then give that person a true listening ear. And mommy, if you watching this, I'm pretty sure my aunties and everybody, y'all can come back and watch it later. Mommy, I am truly sorry. I think that is one of the ones that really made me open my eyes over the past couple of weeks about my delivery at times, how I handle certain situations. Because sometimes I kind of have a tendency when people are talking to me, and I measure out if the conversation is of importance to me, and that is wrong. That is wrong because it's important enough for them to even speak it into the atmosphere. I was important enough to them for them to share what they are going through or what their experience or what their feelings is. But then sometimes and I'm guilty of, because like I said, I'll stand there and be like, in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, this is just a waste of time, air. But then I said, how would I feel if somebody else was thinking this very same thought to them? So, and I feel that one of the biggest things missing is humility. Like I said, I did some soul searching on this one, because in order for us to be true listeners, we have to understand and realize that somebody else's opinion, somebody else's thoughts, somebody else's situation is just as important as my thoughts, my feelings, and my situation. We have to be willing to accept that there's nothing that we are dealing with or going through that in our opinion it may be the worst thing in our life, but then somebody else is going through a situation much worse than it.
Yeah, and let me say this, and I mean, it's like a give and take thing. Communication is a give and take thing. Now we're in the heat of an argument. We both can't talk. We can sing together, but we can't talk together. I know a lot of people hurt that. And I feel like once we get the idea of, I'm going to listen to you carefully and not try to, okay, if you said something to hurt me, trying to wait till my time to say something back. And then you let that person talk and you talk. And me and Yvonne had to learn how to do that. And we had to learn how to close our mouths and listen to one another. Because by the time you thinking about that question or that statement that you're get ready to ask, you're not listening to that person. You stop listening because you're focused on when you can get your chance to speak on that situation. By the time you think about that, you sitting there thinking that thought you had, that person probably would have already answered it. But because you're not listening, truly listening to what the conversation is really truly saying, and this is like a grown-up thing. This ain't no thing that you can just, you got to grow up in the mind to be able to digest that a person's importance in their conversation is just important as your thoughts of what you want to say.
Ooh, that's deep.
It is.
Yeah.
Because we all think about what we got to say is so important. Why don't what that person's saying is just as important And then when you get to the point where that conversation is more important, and you will actually learn from that. It won't be a thing where you just constantly listening to it, and then in the next conversation you're gonna have another burnt out issue, because whatever you press progress. If you go on and people are having these same little arguments and nobody's listening, you're gonna make it worse and then worse. That's where divorce comes in at, and parents and children relationships get messed up. Also talking about at work or friendships and all kinds of stuff, because you're not really listening, truly listening to that person and what they're saying, what they're not saying.
Right.
A man to hear, for a woman, you ask a man, "Are you all right?" And they'll say, "What this gonna say? Your husband come in and say, 'You all right?' Okay, you all right?" And you gonna say, "Yeah, I'm fine." But in the midst of it, what you really saying is, "I need help. I really need help. I'm having some issues right now." You ain't gonna ask a person that they fine if you know that they're fine. You're gonna ask a person that they're fine, and are they fine because you sensing something in there that's a problem. Now, everybody ain't gonna want to talk about what's on their mind, but there's a way of really talking and communicating with a person where they'll let you know anyway. So you seem like you had a long day today, and then they'll start talking about their day. And then when the day starts showing up what the real issue is, man, I had all these bills to pay, all these children to take care of, the school's calling me up, talking about Johnny is acting a fool. I'm sitting here trying to make sure you got something to eat today. I've been at the grocery store and they cut me in line. They'll tell you what your issue is.
Yeah.
But if you asking them, are they fine, they're going to say they're okay. So what I'm saying to you, this line of communication is actually being able to truly discern when and where not to talk, and when you should be able to listen.
Yeah. Ooh, that's good. Yeah. And you know something else I like? Janet said to me, she said, we also have to be, she said, we need to listen to understand and not to win.
Wow. Oh.
I said, huh? She said, yeah. She said, listen to understand and not to win.
Oh.
And she said she and her sisters were in a conversation, and she said, girl, we going at it. We going at it. And she said, and she said, Apples, I kept saying, she said, I told my older sister, like, so you feel good, you feel that you won? And she said, and I had to go and check myself. She said, because it stopped being a conversation, and it became who could get the last word in, who could get the last jab, who could get the last blow. And she said, all I had to do, and the rest of us, is listen to understand and not try to win. And that was that. I think that's a great one. Listen to understand, not to win.
Yeah, because everybody wants to be right, and that be honest with you, it's not a thing about being right and wrong. You could did something and you know darn well that it was in your mind was right, whatever, and another person might see it in a whole totally different way. It might not be right. So the thing is, we're not trying to win. We're not trying to be right. We're trying to gain trust, understanding, wisdom, knowledge. Learn from that conversation. So when y'all deal with that conversation, the next conversation won't be a residue from that last conversation.
Oh, come on now.
Okay. So
you never know whose life you may save. And I don't mean from a suicide standpoint. What I mean is you may be able to save somebody's life from going down the wrong path. You may be able to save somebody's life from making a huge, terrible decision.
Wow.
Because you think about it, people feel like they aren't being attacked in the conversation. They feel that everybody is against them. And most of the time, what do we do? I should have went ahead and did it anyway if they were going to come at me like this. I'm going to go ahead and take and do it. But what if you had a more of a listening spirit, more of a listening ear, and you embraced the conversation and truly heard what they were saying and where they're coming from? And if you really heard them, then you're able to come at them in a different way and say, hey, I understand, but perhaps this may be a little bit a better course of action. Not accusing somebody of anything, not attacking them, not judging them for the choice and the decisions that they've made or the choice and decision that they're being faced with.
I
It's
use
hard
the word
sometimes.
I use that word understand very carefully because sometimes we think that we understand what a person going through. We can kind of relate to it, but to understand, because I think I said this to my BFF one time. I broke my leg, you broke your leg. We still broke our legs, but sometimes I'll take mine and go put on I'm gonna get in a wheelchair and run a marathon, and then you might go into yours and you at the woe me stage. But we both broke our legs. We can relate to our own situation,
Yeah.
but everybody don't really understand a person. So the thing is, you should be able to trust that person to communicate with you and be able to understand and to relate to what their issues is, and understand that you're you, they're them, but you still can help them be y'all by y'all coming together and being
Mm,
one.
yes. I want
Okay,
to put this
we got
comment
there with Charlie.
that Tara said.
Go ahead.
Hold on, I gotta make it large now. Give me just a second. Give me just a second. So I can see it. There we go. Tara said, while hearing just happens, it's the first thing we do. Listening requires cognitive effort and intention, being truly present in that moment. Mindfulness. When you're listening, it's not about coming back with the right words to say. It's about being a heart with ears. Oh, I love that. Listening and truly feeling their words and thoughts. So you have to ask these three questions. Is this the right time, or am I just venting? Am I saying this gently, or am I using this honestly as permission to wound? Am I doing this for them to restore the relationship, or for me to feel power? It's
Wow.
about truly listening and speaking truth in love, understanding that listening requires gentleness and compassion. Tara, you
Wow.
better say that.
Wow.
And
You
number
hear me? You hear what I
two.
say? That's why she got
Mm,
the title. That's why she get the title. You
yes,
know what
ma'am.
I'm saying? Life coach.
Wow.
Life
Wow,
coach.
that is
That was
deep.
that was a deep coaching session right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that because it's so true. I need to take that and place that
Mm,
inside of our what's in the bag page about listening and
yeah.
understanding,
And
and that
especially number two.
number two. That's right.
I'm gonna take that. Am I saying this gently, or am I using this honesty as permission to learn?
I like
I'm guilty of it.
yeah. And you got to understand that this
Mm,
is what relationships require when you have and I bet you one thing, a lot of us will sit down and talk to a stranger and give them the whole total,
mm,
just be into what they're saying before we do it for anybody that we're attached to, like
yeah.
relationships. I've done it. I've listened to a stranger tell me their whole story and probably can repeat everything they said. But then when it's somebody like your husband or your wife or your children, body at work, whatever, you shun it and like it's another conversation. But it's just as
Mm-hmm.
important.
It's just as important. And you know something that's slowing the conversation down.
Oh yeah.
Slowing the conversation down. I'm gonna tell you about, about me and Marvina. Marvina is quick wit. Now I'm gonna tell you now. I got a mouth on me. I got a tongue on me, baby, because I can come back too. But I don't come back as quick as she does. And I'm gonna tell you that's something I used to hate. We don't text as much as we used to. She sometimes I felt that she would purposely stop talking to me physically and text me because she knew I couldn't text as fast. Because I stutter. And so my mind, and she'll tell you my mind is constantly going and stuff is coming out so quick that it looks like gibberish, so I'm going back trying to correct. And by the time I done responded to one, she done sent four and she on the next one. I was so
True. I be gone. my mind is, I'm going. And
Yeah, she is
she's
going.
trying. And another thing with Yvonne is she tries to word it so it sounds, makes sense. You see the way she talks. She very elegant. She talks that way now, and I just rush it out. I guess that's why me and her are such good friends like that because, we're a lot alike, but we're a lot different.
Different, yeah.
And I get it out. And sometimes I need her to pull me back because I'll call her and I'll tell her this, that, and the other. And then she'll just slow it down. Okay, Marvina, this is your title. This is what you need to do. This is what maybe if I was in your predicament, I'll do it this way. And then I listen because that's what I need at that time. I listen and it helps because I ain't perfect and no is she. We knows that, that's why God put us together and that because we're able to communicate with each other. Now in the beginning though, we had a hard time figuring this out. My best friend and I, we would kind of go at it and not realizing that we might be saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We be saying the same exact thing, but hers was slow and mine was fast. And then when we find out there's a middleman, which we was able to find that in listening to one another, communicating with each other, being true to each other, then we was able to make a difference in the way we talk to each other.
And and I tell anybody, true listening is a growth process.
Yes, it is.
It's like planting a seed. You gotta till that soil. You gotta make sure everything is broken up. It's not clumps of things, sitting around. So you plant that seed, then you water it, you fertilize it, you pull the weeds. It's a growth process, and as you grow it and you're working on it, you nurture it, and you start to get better and better at it, and you'll see your relationships get better. Because I'm gonna tell you something. I have 5 sisters. And there's nothing in this world that I would not do for them, and there's nothing in this world that they would not do for me. We may not talk to each other every day, and I know that we get on each other's nerves at times. But our listening skills over the years has gotten so much better. And in our listening skills, we learn something truly important. We can't change the other person, and we're not supposed to. We're supposed to help that person grow as they help you grow. And that is where that listening comes from. Because if we were all the same, it just wouldn't work. It just wouldn't be a healthy society. If you and your partner were exactly the same, it would not be a healthy relationship.
We're learning how to do that in my family. We're learning to draw. We're learning. It's a learning.
It's a process.
It's a learning process. And when you see Coach Brandy on here now, Coach Brandy and Tyra, they are and God bless my Yvonne. They're our coaches when they talk about life coaching, and I believe that they understand this topic very, very much so because they have to literally communicate and understand other people and also themselves. And I love I unleash your own superpowers. I love that. That just makes me feel like this is a superpower to be able to listen and communicate to people effectively and be able to love on each other and get understanding that we all are human and we all have different opinions, but we still can, what they say, we can agree to disagree and still have great communication.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I love it. I love that.
Right.
I love it. Everything you saying, Coach Brandy. I love it, girl. I called you for your birthday. Go ahead.
And you know something else? that I thought about, and B, you can said this throughout the whole show, and it's people paying attention to more than words, and you're so good at that, and I'm learning. I am learning. Cause she'll say to me, "You missed all of that, didn't you?" I'm like, "Huh?" But see, you talking about somebody that would drive down the street, and it could be somebody standing over there with the drawers down around their ankles, bent over, and I would not have seen anything because I am this type of person. I get tunnel vision. When I get focused on this, I'm focused on that. I'm not everything else is just gonna have to wait. Marvina has the superpower, and I like what you said, Brandy. She has the superpower of being able to focus on this, focus on that, focus on that. She sees everything, even when you think she does not. So sometimes you may get a phone call or a conversation may start over. Can I ask you a question? Me, I'll be like, no, no, you cannot. Because I know it's getting ready to be a deep conversation sometimes. And it may not be, I put like this right here. When she starts off with me like that, I know that a good kick in my butt is coming. I know that a good kick in my, and so when I'm saying no, I'm like, okay, go back. Okay, Vaughn, what did you say or do? What did you say or do to somebody? Because she's going to tell me. And what I love about her, and this is another thing of listening, if you're in a group of people and you say something, there's no reason for you to try to correct or chastise somebody in front of everybody. You can pull somebody to the side and gently say, hey, in that conversation, you kind of came hard on this person, or oh, you said, because we've done that. We've done that. We were out to dinner. We were out to dinner one night, and my BFF was tired. She wasn't tired. She was tired. And this little young lady, it was cold in there. You spoke and your words were hanging in the air. That's how cold it was. And Marvina said something about the AC, and the young lady went to say something back, and Marvina shut that down quick. It was really kind of hard. And when the young lady walked up, I said, "You owe her an apology. You owe her an apology. She was simply trying to explain to you about the heat air system and who controls it and so on and so forth. She was trying to give you an explanation, and you didn't hear. And she was like, at first, because we like this, I don't know how to do it. No, I don't. Look, you know what I did? I picked up my coffee, and she'll tell you, I just sipped my coffee and said, okay. A little bit later, a young lady comes back and she says, hold on, baby, before you leave. I owe you an apology. And she said, and my BFF pointed it out to me, and she said, and I'm so sorry, I do apologize. And that's how we communicate. That's that listening skills. Those are those listening skills. And the young lady's whole body language changed. And then after that, it became a beautiful dinner. And then we made a couple of friends with her and some other people and so on and so forth. And in listening, you should be able to develop the skills to be able to say, I am sorry when it wants it.
Right.
That is part of helping listening skills. And like Marvina said, be cognitive, pay attention. It's not what people are saying sometimes. Sometimes it's good listening skills is what they're not saying. They're going to communicate it through their tone, through their body language, and emotion.
Tara, and let me say this. I'm sorry to cut you off, Coach.
No,
I know Tara do that because y'all like night and day. It's like me and Yvonne. I know because Coach Brandon. She's that energy. She's play life. That's a session on play life, and she loves life. She loves what she do. She loves. And then you got Brandy. I mean, Tara also the same way. She loves life. What she do. She's more laid back with hers. So I get it. I'm reading your comments, Tara, and I'm reading your comments, Coach Brandy, Coach. But
I love y'all.
I love y'all so much because y'all two do remind me of me and Yvonne. We don't have life coaches behind our name, but we do have what's in the bag. Because what's in the bag gives a voice to the voiceless, and y'all give it through y'all life coaching. And I love that. Yes, Tara do ground you, and I get it.
Yeah.
You know,
You guys ground each other.
that's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And I mean, I love that because when you have that very special person in your life that can tell you something and you don't take it for granted, you know they have your best interest in hand, you will listen to what
That's
they're saying.
right.
Your communication is different than anybody else in the whole entire world. Yvonne knows more about me than I can say anybody really in this whole entire world because I'm able to communicate with her and I believe that she knows whatever is going on with me. She holds my secrets. Okay.
Yes.
A lot of my dad said this to me when I was younger, and I made it a promise that I would be that type of person. If you can't hold your own secrets, how you expect anyone else to hold them?
Right.
I wanted to be that person that be able to hold people's secrets. I felt
Mm.
that communication is one thing, but to trust a person is another. People can say things to me, and I will never go back and tell anybody.
Mm-hmm.
People would that you would never know me and a person had a conversation or what happened in it. Even though I
That's
know a
right.
person will go back and tell the world about something because it helps them to release whatever they need to release out of them. I don't know, don't matter. But for me, I don't go and get on no phone and call this person to tell them what happened and so I can help myself look good in front of. I don't do that. I'm
Yeah.
quiet with it.
No, she real she real
I
talk.
don't do that. I don't.
she knew she knew some things about a couple of my sisters, and and we 7 years into our friendship, and I didn't even know she knew. And I said, "Huh?" She said it wasn't. She said it wasn't my. She said it wasn't my information to tell. I said, "But I'm your BFF." She said, "Then you should respect the fact
Right.
that I can keep conversations to myself." She said, "Whenever somebody wants you to know something, they will tell you that." She said, "They'll tell you." She said, "Don't get mad at me because they trusted me." And she said this, now this would piss me off. She said, maybe you got to re-examine yourself because if they felt comfortable enough telling me, but they didn't feel comfortable enough telling you. And then that's what she said to me about what her dad said. And I was like, dang, that is jacked up on so many levels.
But
But
it is what
it's
it is.
true.
It's the truth. I don't take what people say to me and broadcast it. I don't do all of that. It's not a thing for me. And you might do something to me and I still won't call and broadcast it. That's just
Nope.
unless it's something that someone's going to get hurt behind, I'm not going to go ahead and broadcast the situation. Now, if you want them to know, you gonna tell them. That's on you. I ain't mad at you. I remember many a times, man. My mother and I would come to work because I was a CNA. I would come to work, and she had some information, and she would tell me. I already knew, but I would never say
So you already knew it.
I never said I know, mine. No, I don't do that. I act like
Yeah.
I just heard it for the first time. Because I feel like this communication with other people don't have anything to do with the communication you and I have. I don't want everybody in my business, and I definitely won't put everybody in yours. That's not who
Oh,
I am.
that's deep. That's deep, my man.
You know me.
Yeah,
You
I
know
know
me.
you, and like I said, and that's when people say, "Why do you love this person so much?" And I tell people all the time, there is never just one reason why I love people. So I say that to say this is just reason number 10,789 of the million reasons why I love Marvina is because of her stand and how she really does. She really does. That is her mantra. Really, if when she knows you, and you don't even have to be her friend, she will not come back. If you held a conversation with her, she's not going to come back, and it's not going to be part of the dinner table conversation or the water cooler conversation. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I have told her some and shared some things with her, and I have never, ever in 20 some odd years heard any of those conversations back outside of if she and I revisit those conversations.
Never.
Now that is a true skill set, true listening set, because she heard, and the reason why I say a true listening skill set is because she heard the privacy in the conversation. She heard the need to keep it between just me and her. She heard the need for me to be able to vent and get it out because sometimes your secrets can just kind of overtake you like a bunch of weeds.
Yeah.
But she heard the need that this is a private conversation.
The same here for you, Yvonne. The same thing with you. You the same way. You do the same thing. I've told her many things about me and never heard it again. I've never heard no one repeat it or any of those things. So that's like 100,000,000 things I love about you too, BFF. And that's why we so strong in our friendship, because we're able to trust each other when we communicate
right.
with each other. It's not about me worrying about going back and telling nobody anything regarding her, because like you said, it's nobody else's business. Business is really important to me. Your business is your business, and I want my business to be my business. When we talk about our business to one another, it should not be everybody else's business. If we wanted everybody to know, we will bring everybody together and we'll have a whole conversation. But we did.
Yes, ma'am.
So the same here. The feelings goes back to my BFF about that, because she's the same way. Girl, we gotta go. It's 9:57.
I know.
Tyra,
we hanging out for the day.
Coach Tyra and Coach Brandy. You know what? That's why I love y'all. That's why we so attached. And everything y'all wrote over there, I know you are in agreement, because that's what we are. We're that person. I'm Brandy and Yvonne is Tyra. We have got to get down there with you guys for a weekend. Yes, we were talking about it. We got to get together.
Yeah.
We knew Atlanta or Mississippi. We got to do something, because there's no way we're gonna let another one of our sisters leave this earth and not have our eyes on each other. And that's got to happen, because these are our sisters right here. And God has blessed us with them through Yvonne. Oh my God, she has brought us all together, and then she, that's some true, that's some true love that she left behind. The residue of her all over. She got footprints all in this world, this world. She had footprints all in this world, and I'm grateful to her for that. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We gotta get off of here. We got some things we got to do today. Today, not today, today. Yeah, it's beautiful outside. It's beautiful outside. It's going in this and the 80s. I was looking at one young lady, Jessica, who had came on earlier. She said this type of year is her year. This is my year too. I love being warm. I love the sky. I love everything about when it starts to turn into from spring to summer. I love spring to summer. Okay, and I'm glad God has gifted us with another year to be able to see another sunny, airy day. And we're going to take advantage of it, BFF. Let's do this. Girl.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You want to take this one out?
Yes. So, hey, guys. Thank you guys for today.
Yes.
This was such a good conversation.
Yes.
And for many more conversations like this, join us during the week on our Facebook group page. It is an interactive page, and it is What's in the Bag. We have Motivational Monday. Talk About It Tuesday, Wisdom Wednesday, Thankful Thursday, and Friday. And I have to give Marvina credit. She is showing up and showing out on that page. She has been keeping it going and putting some thought-provoking questions out there. And then we also have the 100-day challenge. And, you don't have to put the answers or your thoughts on that. You can make comments if you want to. But we're asking you to just grab a pen and a piece of paper and start your journal. And just write down those questions and write down your answers. And then we're going to go back and revisit some of those. And then we also have the What's in the Bag question mark. That is our directory. That is our directory. That is where you can find out about upcoming events and things of that nature that we may be participating in, or even if you have an event coming up, you're more than welcome to take and put that information out there for viewers. And then we also have YouTube. Our YouTube channel is What's in the Bag and the number 21. What's in the Bag and the number 21. Please help us to continue to grow that page. It's growing very well.
Yeah.
And yeah, so share, like, and subscribe. That's what we want you to do, and turn on the notification bell. So that way you'll never miss an episode of What's in the Bag.
Yay!
And then on Twitch, we have What's in the Bag 21. I want to give a shout out to my nephew, Will.
Hey, Will!
He watches us consistently on Twitch, and I really want to thank him for that. And then we have our Instagram. Yeah, we have our Instagram, and we have our Messenger and TikTok. So you guys can message us. It is What's in the Bag and number 21. No separations on those. Now, we don't go live on those platforms, but you can message us. We do monitor those platforms as well. And then if you guys just want to hold a conversation with us, 833-520-9482, extension 700 or 701, or 833-520-WITB. And that's it.
That's it. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. We are grateful for y'all. Go ahead, Vaughn. I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. Go.
Oh, no, you're good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. It was you. You were still in. I'm sorry.
So I was getting ready to say, hey, it is such a beautiful day out there today. Get out there and enjoy life, live life, and listen to somebody. But truly listen to somebody and see how that makes your spirit feel. With that being said, as always, stay blessed. Love you guys so much.
Yes, have a good day. We thank you guys so much for coming in here. And let me say this. Communication is a really good thing for everyone to listen and understand.
Everybody's talking.
All right. So
Voices
have
everywhere.
a wonderful week, and we'll see
Opinions,
you one
comments,
day.
reactions.
Love you so much.
But the real question is, who's really listening? Are we responding or are we reacting? Talking so loud but missing what's happening. Words fill the air like a crowded room, but hearts stay silent underneath the noise. Scrolling through 1,000 conversations, social media full of declarations. Everybody speaking their point of view, but real connection is slipping through. Are we listening to understand, or just waiting to reply? Hearing every single word, but missing what's inside. Everyone is talking, voices in the air, trying to be heard, but nobody's aware. Words keep falling, but hearts go unseen. What does it mean? What does it mean? Everyone is talking, but who's slowing down? Who's really hearing the truth in the sound? Maybe the answer is simpler than we think. Sometimes the power is learning to listen. Relationships breaking over conversations, miscommunication building frustration. Hearing the words but missing the heart. Listening should have been the start. Leaders rise when they truly hear, not just the loudest voice in their ear. Real strength shows when we understand, not just talk but take a stand. Listening is more than hearing words. It's patience, it's presence, it's respect. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can give someone is your attention.